Just imagine what it's really like. Just try to picture what you heard in legendary folklore concerning this particular subject and actually being a witness to it. It's strange and overwhelming. Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak. There's a couple of very disturbing dreams that I had, and there were also visions at the same time. There's about 4 of them that were very, very disturbing. And I don't know how to actually explain this, but it's crazy. I don't even know if many people would actually believe it. I've always been afraid of things that having to do with movie theaters. Not all the time, just sometimes. Sometimes I would have dreams of going to the movies, to a regular local cinema, and watch whatever movie, and there'll be certain people that I would know and I would talk to them later on and things like that. But there was also times where they would become very weird. The dreams were very weird. And there was a little bit of, at times, dreams that were just weird, but then they were a little bit disturbing, a little bit creepy. And I would feel phobic. And I had this urge to just get out from the movie theater and just walk out, making a very hasty exit. A very hasty exit out the door and just, and not look back. There's been times, and the movies were regular. I wasn't watching anything creepy. It was just this dreadful feeling of, this ominous feeling of, I need to get the fuck out of here. Something's about to happen. And of course, I already know what that is. I explained about it before in one video. It was entitled Places That You Never Should Go, or something like that, or places that you shouldn't never go into. And I started explaining a story about me going into a movie theater, and they showed this very creepy black and white stop motion animation cartoon. And they would show these clay figures. And it was like from the 1930s. And then they would have the music from that time period. And then they would show another one, like different series of them. And then they would show that countdown that when a movie is about to start, just 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the movie would start. But when it got close to 2, when it went to 3, 2, I would hear like a sinister chuckle. But it was more than from more than one voice. and they turned out to be bogarts, which is these creepy looking claymation type. To me they look like claymation, ugly, deformed kind of creatures, and they're related to goblins and elves and all that kind of stuff like that. And they showed up on the screen, and they were staring at me. They were staring at the audience, and then they came out of the screen, and they started attacking people. But they were attacking them in the astral plane, because as soon as they showed up, there was distortion coming out from the screen. It was kind of like a conduit, a doorway, and then there was distortion all over inside the theater where everybody was sitting. There was about a good fair amount of people there, and it was really disturbing. And the thing about it is, nobody had a clue what was happening. They were just all fixated on the screen, like they were hypnotized. And I was the only one who was looking around and seeing these things fly up and jump and do all this kind of stuff like that. And then one of them noticed me and got angry and grabbed me, started throwing me around, violently around, the area where I was sitting. And they were very strong, and they were very wet and clammy, like wet mud, kind of, or like clay, like wet clay kind of thing. And I recognized them, like I saw these fuckers before. I saw them before, that kind of thing. So if you watch that short story, it explains what it is, the whole scenario of the story. Places that you should never go into. I think that was the title of it. And there's also times where I had creepy, disturbing dreams. And this one is, I'm sorry, but this one is extremely fucking disturbing. And at the same time, extremely fucking far-fetched. I guess for most people. I don't know. It depends on your point of view. I don't even know if I should even say this shit though, but in this particular dream, I was with a couple of people, some friends of mine and my older brother. I don't even know why he was in it, and these guys that I know that I was friends with. But we're in a movie theater, and the movie didn't start. And it was very strange. There was an announcement on speaker saying, "Okay, it's time to go." And we all got up and started. There was a fair amount of people, and we all went in single file through the back door of the screen. We went behind the screen, and there was a back door in the stage, and we walked through it. And what I saw was this huge corridor, this hallway, and it looked like almost like a hospital hallway. And there was a few doors on each side, as we started walking out. And then there was this pathway, and we're being led by a person who was giving us a tour. And even though this was really weird and strange, I was compelled to keep walking with them to find out what the hell's going on. And the more we got into finding out what we saw and this and that, the more scared I got. And I just wanted to get the hell out of there. Anyways, we went to this other area, a big, huge room. It was extremely huge. And there was a stage, a platform and a stage. And they had these these girls, these young girls, they were underage. They're about maybe 7, 8 years old to 12 years of age, around there. And they were there was this kind of like a weird, like, levels. It was a first level and of girls lined up, and then a second level, and some kind of like a second platform, and this and that. It was kind of weird, and it looked like an auction. At the same time, it looked like a beauty pageant. The way, you know how you see those beauty pageants when those young girls are put with the makeup, and they dress all sexy and stuff like that. But these girls were like half naked, and then they were posing, and you hear the voice and this one speaker and talking about these particular girls. And the first thing that I noticed, the very first thing that I noticed was that they came from rich families. I could just tell just by looking at them that they came from upper middle class or upper class families. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then the tour guide was just explaining what was going on. It says their parents made a deal for power, control, for wealth. They made an agreement with them. Them? Who the fuck is them? I thought to myself. It says they made an agreement to give these kids to them, to have them, and then somebody next to me, I don't know, it was my older brother or the friend of mine, I don't know, or the person next to me was saying, they give them to who? And the tour guide, with a very depressed and disgusted look on his face, very cynical at the same time, he just turned and looked to them. And I'm like, so I turned around to see what the hell was behind me. And what I saw from a distance, from a good maybe 20 feet away or something like that, there was a long platform, a long table, and there was these creatures seated in a seat. There was about maybe 12 seats or something like that. I don't get it, but there was one creature after another, and the one at the far end, these they were scary looking, and they were ugly, and they were horrific. Let me just put it that way. It's like going to a freak show, seeing circus freaks. One looked like some kind of lizard, and all of them were wearing these fancy type of royalty type clothing, like shimmery fabric, and with some of them had collars that come up to here. The one in the far, from the far end, he looked like some kind of lizard of some sort, and he was just moving around, and he was smiling, and each one of them had buzzards on, right close to them. And the one next to him had like, for those of you who saw the movie or saw the TV show Monsters, you know the intro. It's an old TV show for the 1980s. It's like Tales from the Crypt or Tales from the Dark Side, and then the father is like a big, huge, like a, I don't know, like some kind of fucking potato, or some kind of, I don't know, some kind of big oversized head, and I don't know, and then he had this grin, and this disturbing fucking grin. He looked a lot like that. The face was very, very similar to that, if not exact. And he was wearing the same type of clothing. All of them were the same way. and the rest of them were different types. I couldn't recognize very well what the rest of them looked like, and he looked more like an egg, like a or something. I don't know, but he had also had like snail antennas or whatever the fucking call those things, whatever you call those things. And he was smiling, and then he started pressing buzzards, and for the girls that they liked, and I just felt a perversion from them. And then I turned back and looked back in the stage, all creeped out and shaking. And then one person didn't understand, or maybe he just didn't want to give them for what, to sacrifice them, to eat them, or whatever. He was like, I guess he kind of knew, but didn't want to say it. And the tour guide was saying, no, it's for the sex. And I'm like, no, no, I didn't even want to say that. I knew exactly what I saw, and then in the look of these girls' faces, you could tell that they're already so mentally fucked in the head, pressured by their parents, as they're smiling, forced to smile and pose sexy for for these for these sick fucks, and 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 they were smiling, but it was a fake smile, or they were, I don't know, maybe they were just so mentally conditioned, or whatever the case may be. And then we remember leaving, and there were certain rooms where they were explaining where they what happens in this room, what happens in that room, and a certain rooms where they take the girls in with these creatures that actually pick them. And of course, we're forbidden to go in there. But then again, I wouldn't want to go in there to see what's going on, anyways. Fuck that. And then we started seeing more and more of it, and there was some other things. I don't want to get too much into it. It just sounds too fucking crazy. I know this sounds crazy. It sounds far-fetched as hell. Even I don't want to believe it in a sense. I don't know. I honestly don't fucking know. And then I remember we went back to the door again behind the movie screen, and we came out. And then everybody sat back into the seats. But my friends and my brother, or my older brother, said, no, come on, let's just get the fuck out of here. So we went, and then we went out the door and back out to the parking lot, and went into the car and drove away. And the feeling of relief as we were walking out of the building. And I don't fucking get what the hell, what all of that's supposed to mean with, I mean, I know exactly what it is or what's going on according to the dream, but I'm talking about, like, what is it about the movie theater and the back of it or whatever? I don't fucking get it. And these creatures didn't seem like, I know you would think aliens or whatever, but the vibe that I was getting from was they were not from another planet. My vibe was telling me that they were actually made here. They were biologically created here. Who knows how many thousands of years ago or whatever. They have a lifespan that there are thousands of years. That was the vibe that I was getting from them. And I think you know where I'm going with all this about what I explained. I know it sounds fucking crazy. It does. There was another dream. I don't want to take up too much time. But there was another dream where I saw the same type of like creepy animation cartoon, stop motion claymation animation in this one very small theater. And then again, distortion in the room. and there was this woman sitting next to me. And then, as I felt that evil vibe, I turned and looked at her. She looked at me with a sinister smile and started smiling at me, and she actually shapeshifted into a hideous-looking creature. But it happened when there was distortion in the room. It looked like the walls were shaking. And then when I looked at her and saw her shapeshift, because it happened so quick, like it took about maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds at the most. And I said to myself, why does it look digital? You know, like deep fake, that kind of thing. And I turned away and I looked, and I was just too busy looking at everything. It sounds crazy, I know, but I don't know. These are the weird, disturbing dreams that really got to me, and I'm just trying to make sense of it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Questions or comments, you know what to do. And to all of you, take care.